Hola, everyone, and welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. First up, we're joined by the co-founders of Latinismo Art in Education to discuss how they're using art to redefine Latin American identity while building global solidarity networks. And after that, get ready to learn how to turn words into wealth when we meet the killer pitch master herself, Precious L. Williams, who turned pitching into a power move. And later on in the show, we'll be joined by Mauricio Mendoza, one of the stars of the Tony-nominated Real Women Have Curves, the musical, to share what it was like bringing a Latinx classic to the stage. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on vocalist Margo S. with a performance at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Hey everyone, welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host, Café con Leche, for the next hour, inviting you to get social with us online. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, Threads, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. Bueno, we begin today's show with an initiative that is breaking barriers and building bridges through art. Latinismo Art and Education started in Bogota as a community project and has since grown into an international movement for cultural dialogue, accessible education, and social change. And joining us to share more are the co-founders Laura, Amaya, Orozco, and Liz Torres Ramos. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Rhina. How are you?
Rhina. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're so happy to have you. It's unfortunate that we're having you after the closing of The Future Holds Something for Us. However, we're still excited to share all of the collaboration, all the effort that went into mounting that exhibition and just taking us on the journey of your origins to getting to where you were just this past month.
Okay.
Right, so the exhibition opened in April. You just recently closed. I already introduced that you started out as an initiative in Colombia, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The exhibition itself, it actually had like 9 different countries within it?
9 different countries,
right?
So,
but I want to talk about how it started from Colombia and how you expanded to then ending up with this huge exhibition that, again, I'm so sorry that we missed it while it was on display, but to have it up from April to July, well, the end of June, I should say, that's quite a long run. So talk to us about the beginning, Colombia.
The beginning of this is passion for art. And yes, we start working with a women initiative in Bogota. We call women from all the country just to talk about women history in Colombia, and we create a public exhibition in a park, a famous park that is called Bicentenario. Then the history had an evolution, and Laura moved to New York, and then we opened the possibility here.
And so how long ago was that?
that was in 2017 in Bogota, Colombia.
Okay.
We start with grants, like public funds and things, and to execute projects there. And after that, I moved in 2023 to New York, and we were talking about the possibility to continue things, but here, but with Latin American art, Latin American contemporary art, because that is our goal, to redefine and to weave dialogues through art, but with just Latin American art.
Right. And so let's just share everybody a little bit of your background because you're a curator, right?
Yes, I'm
At,
curator.
right. And you're also an architect and a photographer.
A multidisciplinary artist.
A multidisciplinary
Yeah.
artist, I know, but these are your specialties, right? And I want them to know
Yeah.
also that you're a botanist designer, right? That's a big deal for me with the plants, right? We already shared a little bit about that, but I want to talk about your skill sets, how you unified, and how it is that you actually curate and choose your artists. So I want to start with you first,
Okay, I'm an artist.
right?
So I started fine arts. Then I started working in education. So right now I'm working in public policy for education in Colombia, but since art, because for me art is a way to transform the world. So I work with education in Colombia, and I have been working in cultural projects like since 10 years ago. And with Laura, we were friends since school.
Cool. When we were
This is
like
years
10
and
years,
years
8
creating.
years old, we met in the school.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I just wrote a note of social consciousness. So you're actually,
Yes.
you're educating through the arts so that people will have their own interpretation, but everything is done with an intention.
Yes, and you know, art is not just like a career or a technique. It's a possibility because everybody could be an artist. Everybody. And everybody could express. So that's why we are trying to create this proposal as a possibility, not just for Latin people, just for perceiving art since the public here in New York.
Right, through the lens of the Latinidad.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, we're all human,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We just have different sabores, different flavors.
Colors.
Right?
Exactly.
And even with all that, we still have similarities within our differences.
Yes.
So, Laura, because, yes. Because the research I was doing on you ladies, I was very fascinated by, again, you coming from this educational background, and then you having this, like, you have a special eye in the way you capture. I believe I saw something. I don't know. Again, it's art and it's interpretive, but there was a social like message within something that I saw that had Jesus on it.
Yeah.
By the water, saves, and then I kind of questioned like, okay, is she focused on the actual design of how it looks, accompanying the water? Or is it the message? Like, so you took me there. So obviously you have something very, very unique. Do you understand what I just said?
Yeah, about...
No, because te lo tengo que decir en español.
Sí, but it's about the exhibition,
No, it's about your work.
but it's
Previous
about...
work.
But it's
Okay,
about...
that was about the exhibition. Got it. No, I'm asking. No, te estoy preguntando. ¿Sí? Yes? ¿Tú me entendiste?
Which project?
Which project, exactly?
I just did research and I found like videos and images and because I was really researching both of you, right?
Yeah.
I did a deeper dive into your work because of the juxtapose in the way you are narrating your story.
Yeah, I like to like make visual narratives through photography. So my eye is just telling my stories about how I see the world, you know. So I study architecture at the beginning, but before of that I study photography, like analog photography. And then I start to say like, okay, what else? What is coming up? And then I study culture for being like culture manager, so cultural managing. So after all of that big things that I carry in my bag, I say like, what else? Because it's something more. And I said, plants and space. I wanna like all of that together. So I try to put all of that together. But in my photography, I photograph most like the city and the urban spaces and people and buildings. How can it connect with abstraction in a building, in a materializing building or something, and people and emotions. So that is my work about photography, architecture, but also then I put together the life into the buildings, because we all need like life into the spaces. So, and then the art, and then the art with this and with all this social thing, that because we really love that people have their own perceptions of life.
Right. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
all of that. And so coming back to the social consciousness in yes, I saw it in your work. And even though it's objects and elements, right?
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, I don't know, I was mesmerized by it. That's why I had to make sure we discuss it and you know, and introduce it to our audience. However, I would also like to possibly introduce the other artists that were, not all of them, but just the concept of bringing in the 9 different countries to tell this story, right? And also the different styles of arts, right? Because I know you had a textile artist. Like, so please do share.
Yes. Well, for us, this is kind of a symbolic migration because all the artists are in their countries right now, but the artworks are here. And you know, we have now different situations, and we use just art to create other ways to understand the world. So this is a symbolic migration, and we have 53 artists.
How many?
53.
Wow, that's a
we
big, that's a
have-
huge undertaking to
Yeah.
get all that
Yeah.
Together.
It's
art
massive.
shipped.
Yeah.
We
The
have
90% is shipped by international Paris, Canada, Chile, Colombia,
yeah.
everywhere.
That's what you featured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have, for example, Alexandra McCormick, that is a Colombian artist, and she creates about the nature and water. So she creates like really massive paintings using watercolor. Those are like kind of installations. We have
She makes that interesting thing because she made like a book. You can
you
have a
open the
book,
book.
but then you unfold the book and it's a big installation for the wall.
It's a painting.
but at the same time a book. So it's
It's
amazing.
a portable
It's
painting.
watercolor, but it's nature there.
Nice. So it's
beautiful.
like transformative art.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just made up that word. I just
Yeah,
made
but
up
then
that word
it's-
because you said it went from
It's
a
also,
book.
Decorated.
and that's why it's like an installation, because it can be an installation on wall, but also it's an object.
Yeah.
So, if you had to leave our audience with anything based on your future works, right? What would you like our audience to leave with in understanding your organization better?
Okay, that we are a platform for culture. We do exhibitions, but also workshops, also talks, also encounters. And usually our open call is at the end of the year, and we're inviting everybody to invite their friends, the artists that they know, but also everybody to visit the exhibitions and to be aware about the website, about the social media, to participate on the different activities.
Yeah,
And do they have to be Latine?
Yeah, the only condition is to be Latin American originary. You can live as a Latin American in Paris, in everywhere, in Berlin, but you need to be originary, like Latin American.
Right. So, but what does that mean? That they're born there, or that
Born.
that their
Born.
families from there?
Born,
Yeah.
born mostly, but if you are like, you have family from there, and you live here, but you have family from there, like, you know, you can also participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so my last question, because we got to wrap, is why is that so important to you to make sure that it's exclusive to Latin America? It's important because you know,
this,
go ahead.
this is an important moment for being a Latin person around the world, you know,
Right.
and we need a microphone right now because we have a lot of much to say. We have so much to say. We have so much to show up to the world because we are diverse. We are happy people. We have so much colors. We are not drugs. We are not prostitution. We are much more than that.
And as you told, we are redefining an identity. And I don't know, like growing everything. More than the bridges, like, I think growing the definitions of Latin culture.
I like that, and I like
And
that.
connecting with other humans because
Well, of
as you
course.
told.
I mean, you're here.
Yes.
We're your bridge.
Yes, yes,
We're
yes.
your bridge right
Bridges.
here on Open. I love it.
Yay.
I love that. I love that. The redefining identity, because that's what we're all doing collectively. And I hope that they get that. And that's why it was important for me to ask you that question. Thank you once again, Liz Torres
Thanks to
Ramos,
you.
Laura,
Gracias,
Amaya,
Rhina.
Orozco, and you guys. Again, they're going to be taking open calls towards the end of the year, but that's not to encourage you to visit their website, and you can do so by going to Latinismo Art and Education.us. And also, you can find them on Instagram at Latinismo Art. All right, stay tuned. There's more Open when we return.
There's a new channel to explore, and it's bringing the classics back to life. During the day, relive the BronxNet originals that sparked conversations and built community. At night, dive into the hip-hop throwbacks that defined a generation. One destination, two powerful lineups. Now playing on Optimum Channel 952, Fios 2138, and streaming at BronxNet.tv. BX Legacy, where history meets the moment.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open. Our next guest is a force to be reckoned with. Let me tell you, from homelessness to helping Fortune 500 companies secure the bag, she is what we call the killer pitch master. And a queen, I might add. She's a best-selling author and a corporate sales trainer who's turned the art of the pitch into a life-changing tool. Joining us now to share more about mastering your message, please welcome founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group, Precious L. Williams.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go.
I know.
Get it.
I'm like, oh, I hope y'all are ready, because I gotta tell you, the minute I met this queen, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to bring her and share her with you, because you left such an impression on me. I mean, your energy, your messaging, your style, it's no wonder that you're out there touring the force, just internationally speaking.
Yes.
So let's talk about how you got into that.
Well, I've been speaking for 30 years, but I started at 16 years old in St. Louis, Missouri. And the principal of my high school asked me to speak at an event, didn't know it was before the mayor of the city of St. Louis. And I got a standing ovation. No, I did not write my speech. My English teachers wrote my speech. And after that standing ovation, I was booked by the governor of Missouri. So I started off speaking to politicians, even though I lived in the inner city. And that just started me on this path of understanding content and messaging and being able to bring big energy and big funk and big noise to what it is that I do. I don't shrink, but that's also a part of the way my grandmother and my grandparents raised me. You're gonna come from the inner city, you gotta come hard.
Yeah, and you know, I also love the authentic messaging, the transparency.
Yes.
Right? Because look, I introduced you coming from homelessness, and it's like, why is it so important to share the beginnings and or the obstacles that have presented themselves in life, to instead of just like talking about the successful aspect of that?
Well, I think it's important because people today are only seeing social media where everyone looks like everything has happened so well. I grew up with parents who did not want me. And I became homeless later in life after I was on Shark Tank Season 8 in 2016, after losing the love of my life. So when people meet me, they have all this, oh, she did everything right. Actually, I didn't. I didn't do everything right, but I kept trying. And because I kept trying and I never allowed other people to put their limitations on me, I did become an attorney in the great state of New York. I did pass the bar on my first try. I went to school, fully funded all of my career. And to go from being an attorney to an entrepreneur, to a serial entrepreneur, to international professional speaker, five-time #1 best-selling author, and speaking on global stages, black on both sides, no Brazilian butt lift, no six-pack abs. It can be done. You know what I'm saying? It can be done.
I would just sit back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be done because there are people who've told us all our lives, you have to fit into this box. I refuse. And because I refuse, I hope that inspires a lot of our young boys and our young girls. They do want you. That's the paradigm that we were taught that no longer works. And at 46 years old, I'm having my glow up, and I hope women 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond know we can still glow up. I don't begrudge our young women. They're gonna make the same mistakes we did, and you're gonna get to a certain age where they're gonna tell you don't matter, baby. I'm just getting started.
That's what's up.
I'm just getting started.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. You know, well, obviously you left an indelible impression on me. Okay, like I was just like, oh yeah, that's my sister. And
But I'm
I say
glad you
sister
said
in
that.
spirit, right?
No, Queen, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Listen, sisters from other misters, I'm
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
But that also tells you why the biggest companies in the world hire me. They're not looking for cookie cutter and traditional. They want someone who's professional grade, but will bring that funk. They will
Right.
bring the energy and will make training and learning fun.
Right.
And that's what uniquely I bring to the table, in addition to content and messaging and showing people the audience you think you want. That might be oversaturated, but there are industries that need you you've never thought of. How would I know? Because I had to do it for myself and be the guinea pig. And so writing books, or how do you write 5 #1 best-selling books after homelessness? How do you have the clients that I have after homelessness? You keep trying and you find the right spaces. And that's why pitching is so important to me, to showcase to the world. It's not just Shark Tank. You pitch every day.
I know, and I know that's what people highlight about you because you went and you made it to Shark Tank, but you keep mentioning homelessness, and then I keep wanting to just inquire a little further, like how you ended up homeless.
So after I was on Shark Tank season 8 in 2016, the love of my life who inspired my first company, Curvy Girls Lingerie, he died. And I was so unprepared. That was supposed to be my life partner. And I was unprepared for the way grief hit me. And one drink turned into multiple drinks. I had no money. I couldn't fall back on family. And I tried to take my life on my 38th birthday. So to be 46 is amazing. I had a queen who was a social worker who looked for me, brought me back to New York City. And I was in the Bowery Mission Women's Center. And you know, when you walk into a place like that, people are like, I'm thinking, oh, I'm just a bum, a slug in a ditch, all these sort of things. And they said, welcome home. I haven't heard those words since my grandparents were alive. I was there 2 years. I went from a size 22 to a size 14. There was a different voice that came out of me, and every night, because we didn't have electronics, my Heavenly Father would say to me, your second chapter is going to be better than your first. And I didn't know what that meant. I walked in with a blue dress, a book bag, and a blue coat. I walked out with movers. How many homeless women do you know walk in with 3 items and walk out with movers? The pastor of our church on the Upper East Side invited me to live in his house with him and his wife. And so I don't want to make it a Pollyanna story, but it was hard to see myself failing because I worked with achievements. And so to no longer have that, my Heavenly Father was doing a work in me to showcase everything can be taken from you. And now you know this is the gift I gave you. Go out and use this gift. The people who said no, the doors that close, let them close. Let me show you the other doors that are going to open up to you from your gift. And that's what gave birth to me writing books. That what gave birth to me no longer letting limitations hold me back. And I went after the clients I wanted. And I could showcase that live on stage. And that's how it happened.
Oh my gosh, my hairs are standing. And, like, they really are. They are really for real. And I so appreciate you feeling safe enough to just share in that way.
Right.
Right? Because we could sit here, we could talk about all the,
We could talk all that.
Yeah, all the accolades,
We
all of that, right? Because we're going to talk about that too, because we do have a workshop coming up, and I
We
want to make
sure
sure that
do.
our viewers are aware of like how you keep going, right? And also we got to mention the Essence Fest, and they're already telling me like, oh, don't run out of time without talking about pitching for profit, plus the workshop we have coming up.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that was, you know, I had to take that in, and I know I'm moving it like. In a juxtaposed manner, I think juxtaposed.
You're not dealing with somebody who's new to this. I'm true to this.
All right,
Let's
you're
go.
good. All right, we're flowing. Yeah,
We're
juxtaposed
flowing.
is my word for today, I guess.
Yes.
This is the second time I used it.
Yes.
But I don't want to dismiss what you just shared either. That's my point.
I understand. Being a 13-time national pitch champion, raising $750,000 for my first company no one believed in, I want to show the power of pitching And it's not what you think. My name is, this is what I do, this is who I serve. Being a master of all 6 forms, elevator, media, investor, sales, speaking, and interview pitching has allowed me to teach at the biggest companies, colleges, universities, Ivy League institutions. When I started writing my books, it was, if people couldn't see me live, what would I want them to know about pitching? So now that you know there's 6 forms, how do you use them for yourself if you're a student, if you're a professional, if you have a business? I wrote it down in my books, and each one has a catchy title that has people like, ooh. I'm like, yeah, but it makes you have a fear of missing out if you don't buy it, right? Then I'm the killer pitch master for a reason, slaying all competition with a killer pitch. And another way I keep going is I actually speak on stages around the world. So I'm going to be at Essence Fest. We are launching the 40-year plus Glow Up for women's 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyonds for celebrating this chapter of our life. We have on July 23rd, we're having the dynamic duel of success. Own your voice, own the room, where women can learn how to truly own the space, own how they speak, and walk out with confidence, because I need you to know how to pitch yourself. I need you to know how to speak about yourself, your business, your brands, and everything, your companies. And so that's what we're going to do, Own Your Voice and Own the Room. That's going to be at Luminary. We'd love to have people there, and I'm booked 5 times this and in July, from National Speakers Association Influence Conference to National Urban League. So it's going to be a packed month. Get ready.
Oh my gosh, and I could just sit here and listen to you, and we're out of time already.
I understand.
I know, but I want to see that book that you have sitting there, just because I know you brought 2 books, and we got, that's
yes, right. I have 5 #1 best-selling books, but but my last 2 are The Pitch Queen, A Woman's Journey from Poverty to Purpose and Profits, and my 5th is Rainmaking 101 from Day One, where I take lessons I learned in law school and from being a practicing attorney and show people how to actually get clients. It's about packaging, positioning, and pitching. All my books are on Amazon, Audible, and all of those. So if you can feel free to purchase and check that out, and you will love it.
Yeah, and there's a catchy title there. I have to cover up. I have to cover up this catchy title.
BB Empower Pitches.
Yeah, definitely my kind of reading.
Yes.
Anyway, I gotta say, thank you for making the time.
Thank you.
Amid your travels to come here and share this with us and our viewers in the Bronx. Precious L. Williams, mi gente. Queen Precious L. Williams, I might add.
Thank you.
And once again, to fix your pitch and rise above the competition, you can visit perfectpitchgroup.com and be sure to follow her on Instagram at perfectpitchgroup. All right, stay tuned. I wish we weren't ending this segment, but we have to. So there's more open when we return.
All right.
Oh, sister.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Our next guest takes us straight to the Broadway stage, where a beloved story made a bold comeback. Tony-nominated Real Women Have Curves, the musical shined a light on body positivity, Latinx family life, and immigrant experiences. And here to talk about his run on Broadway, playing the role of Raul Garcia, along with his extensive acting career, we welcome actor and producer Mauricio Mendoza. Hello and welcome.
I like how you said my name.
Aw.
It's so beautiful.
Well, I'm really about honoring our Latinidad.
Yeah.
And quite frankly speaking, I've been doing it even before it was, I guess, being exercised on television, right? Because when you watch certain programs, they anglicize it. I don't even know if that's a word, but we understand
it's
what
right.
it means.
It's right. It's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I never did that. I never, ever.
It's interesting. I changed my name at the beginning of my career, and I would call myself Maurice because they couldn't say Mauricio. And then for a long time, I couldn't hear it and feel like me. So I had to go back to Mauricio as my name.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
so own
Good
it.
for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. And it's our privilege to have you here with
Oh,
us
thank you.
in studio. I know you just closed, so we got you right before you head back to California, where you're from.
Yes.
But I want to talk about what this experience must have been for you, having this amazing show on Broadway, telling our stories, especially during a critical time within our history that we're all still enduring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a dream of mine. I've been in the industry now for 30 years. I got my bachelor's in musical theater, and I always wanted to be on Broadway. But my trajectory went a different path. I started doing television and film. I would always go back to the theater and do it. But then you have a family and you have to, pay bills, so you need to make more money. So my career went more towards the film and television. But this came out of nowhere. It's a blessing from the universe, how it happened. So when I find myself performing, and I'm performing every night, I feel grateful and blessed to have been chosen to be a part of a story that is important, that is relevant, that needs to be told, and that is represented with Latinos on stage who are incredibly talented. It's 6 powerful women on stage every night. I get to play the dad. I'm a supporting character, but what I love about my character is I'm there to support. I'm not there to take. And I play a dad who wants his daughter to be the best that she can be.
I love that you said that, right? Because it's a woman empowerment story, and as a male figure, you're okay with like feeding that women empowerment versus like coming out, because when it comes to Latino men, there tends to be the stigma of the machismo, and that's not who he was.
No, well, I was raised by my mother, and my mom. There's 5 boys, and she is a force of nature. So I was raised by really respecting a woman's place in the universe. So I have a 12-year-old. I am married, and I feel blessed to be able to be a father and a husband.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And so I also want to talk about the fact that you actually pursued masters in classical theater, right? And so you have made acting your career, and it's so important that we have these conversations about being a working actor versus like being like a superstar or famous, and you've worked on so many like very popular shows, which we're going to discuss, but you consistently like go and visit these different shows, and I know you have one that you have a recurring role that we're also going to discuss, the Tyler Perry, The Oval, but just to make that your life and your career, even though you studied classical theater, what was that like for you in just embracing that this is where the money is?
Well, it all comes down to if you have a family and you want to be able to provide, I had to make decisions based on that. So I would always, I'm very passionate about what I do. So to be able to be in this industry, to be able to survive the journey, the ups and downs, you got to love what you do first and foremost.
Right.
Money was never my driving force. Being a celebrity was never my driving force. Yet saying that, when you have a family, that becomes my driving force.
Right.
So I must provide.
Right.
And so I have to make decisions like, okay, there's this TV show and then there's this play. So I will do this TV show so I can go do this play.
Right. Because one pays more than the
Correct.
other. And a lot of it has to do with time investments
Correct.
as well, right?
Correct.
So I'm a thespian too,
Yeah.
so I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I completely understand. And I wanted to bring that up because it's really admirable when you have basically dedicated yourself to the classical aspect of it, right? So it's not about seeking that fame or about being discovered. It's about the craft itself.
Correct.
And it's apparent that it's brought into your different roles. I saw it. I mean, I visited some of your, just some snippets of your reel and so forth. And I mean, if you don't mind, let's name a few. I mean, you were on Matlock and
CIS. Yeah.
You're going to be coming up on
the Oval.
On the Oval,
Correct.
Tyler Perry. Please feel free to name more, because it's important that our viewers and our people understand that we're out there working, and you are quite the chameleon on top of that. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I do consider myself that. One of the reasons that I feel like I am a chameleon is because I do both spaces. What the theater provides for me that television doesn't is I get to be my whole full talent: sing, dance, and act. Television, they stereotype a lot, so I get to play a lot of one thing, which is always
drug dealer,
the bad guy.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know. I saw some of them.
So that's why I love also doing Shakespeare. So it provides so much for me as an artist to be able to do all mediums, so I can get satisfied for what I love, which is to perform.
So, in saying that, right? Because we just put it on the table, and I want to make sure that before our time runs out, that we also express how important it is for us to see each other in a different light, and why you've chosen to also become a producer to provide that opportunity and create it even for yourself. Why do you think that we continue to be seen in a certain light, and that those are the roles that are being offered?
Because we're not producing our own content. So unless we step and start doing, not waiting to be invited to this Hollywood party, because people write only what they know,
right,
and a perception of what they know. So I felt that if I wanted to change that, then I needed to start producing my own content. So I started a company with my wife, Jennifer Barron's, called True Form Films. And our films are literally, we want you to sit there and have an experience, and it's just a universal story that just happens to have Latino actors in it. I don't try to pitch that we're Latino. We just happen to be Latinos who are just making these movies for your entertainment. So we want people to be able to walk out of there learning something in our productions. So I believe that that's where the power is. We got to produce our own content. You're doing it here.
Yes, we are.
You're doing it here, so we can represent ourselves the right way.
And thank you. And it's important that we have these conversations on record, because, as mentioned, you're currently in Tyler Perry's The Oval, and he did it. He's a wonderful example.
Exactly.
Now we have to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And
That's
we have
it.
to do it for each other.
That's it.
So what would you share as last words to anybody who may be in the industry, in film, television, and especially in dealing on a local level, because the importance of camaraderie, of reciprocity is like what I'm always trying to encourage people to understand. Like, it's really about a unified front, even in our differences.
I love that you said that, because at the beginning of your show, you talked about Latinidad. We got to see ourselves as one. We can't separate ourselves from Mexicano, Colombiano, Cuban, Puerto Rican. We got to be one to be able to rise together and not separate each other by, you said it, we're more alike than we're different. We just happen to have an arepa, and, the Salvadoreños have the pupusas.
Right.
Just different. They look different, but they taste the same. They kind of taste the same.
It's so just tweaked a little.
That's it.
Yeah.
But we all have el sabor, la alegría. If we can just see ourselves in a united front, my perspective, I think, would be a lot more powerful together.
Yeah, I agree. And we'd be a larger number to deal with.
Absolutely.
That may be the reason why certain things are happening. But,
Exactly.
But on that note, really, we're coming from a place of love and understanding that we are stronger together.
Correct.
And that's that.
That's that. If we can really understand that we are that, we'd be so much better. I follow Michael Beckwith, and he talks agape love, right? And that love unity is It's the antidote. It's the medication that we all need.
Yep.
That's it.
And it's a driving force that leads to residuals of the same thing.
That's it. It's
just-
healing.
yeah.
It's just healing, right?
Yeah, who doesn't want to live in that
That's
space,
it.
right?
That's it.
Ay, Dios mío.
Yeah.
Ay, Mauricio, thank you so much for bringing
Oh,
this here.
thank
Do you
you.
want to leave our audience with anything with regards to
think
your shows?
For me, it's all about what I just said about Latinidad. I think the most important thing is for us to really go into our own power of being who we are. You know, the immigration issues put us in this negative light constantly that I rather choose to be in the frame that we have more to give than to take in this country as Latinos. So for us to stand in our own power and to really be there for each other through these times.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. That's beautifully said, beautifully noted. And on that note, I just want to add to that. Really, what it's about is we create our own narratives, and we got to do it together.
Amen.
Mauricio, thank you so much
Gracias
for
a ti.
visiting us all the way up here in the Bronx. Once again, for more information on all of Mauricio's projects, as we mentioned, you can catch him on the Tyler Perry show, the Oval. However, for all the other gigs, as we call it in the industry, you can follow him on Instagram at Mauricio Mendoza Official. All right, stay tuned. Our Open Artist Spotlight is coming up next.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet Community Media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit bronxnet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
Sent from the future to save the past, heal the planet and make it last. We find solutions with knowledge slides. Venture forth, echo leaders unite. Echo leaders, echo leaders.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open. Today's Artist Spotlight features a vocalist who's bridging cultures and genres through music. She is a Grammy Award-winning singer who's worked with Residente and is now touring with her debut jazz album, Ashes and Diamonds. And here to share more about her journey from classical opera to contemporary jazz, we welcome back Margo S. Margo.
Hello. Hi, Rhina.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for having me here today.
Okay, so listen, when I learned that you, first of all, collaborated with Residente, right? So I've known you for, I don't know, over a decade.
Yes.
And the last time we had you on Open, you were doing classical opera.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so now you've morphed into a fusion with jazz,
Yes.
but Residente is Latino.
Yes.
And reggaeton, I might add.
Yes, yes, yes.
So please share this experience with us and how that came about.
So about the opera, I studied opera music in Poland and at Brooklyn College here, and but I always have love for jazz, not really for an opera. So I sang with New York Lyric Opera, Carnegie Hall, Symphony Space, jazz, Lincoln
Center.
Lincoln Center, I sang some lead roles in many operas, but then I thought, like, you know, time is passing by, and I just really love jazz, and I always have it in my soul, in my heart, and I always improvised since I was a child. So I completely quit opera and started jazz. I still take lessons with Theo Blackman, one of the best jazz vocalists, and totally changed my life, and I love it. I have my jazz ensemble, and I perform with them, and we're in many places here and in Europe. So the story about Residente, long story short, is that Residente has a Polish girlfriend. And he was recording his song Polvora de Ayer with Krzysztof Nadal. And he was looking for somebody to create a little Polish chorus to his song, lyrics and music, and to record it. And somebody found me at Smalls Jazz Club as a Polish singer. So I went to the studio. He told me what he wanted, and I created that little chorus in Polish, and we recorded. And the song is on his album Las Letras Ya No Importan, which won a Grammy for the best Música Urbana album. So this is how I am a Grammy recipient for collaboration with Residente.
But I'm just here, you know, speechless, because you're like, I decided I don't want to do opera anymore. I'm going to do this.
Because I always have that voice in my heart. And I finally decided to follow it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You went, you
Yes.
followed spirit,
Yes.
and you found your new love, or
Yes.
rather you answered the
I
calling,
answered my
right, to your new
ancient love.
And then you put yourself out there, and somehow you were placed in his cipher, and now you are identified as a Grammy winner, even though you didn't go to the Grammys and actually receive the award with
Exactly.
him. But your vocals are part of his Grammy
Yes,
winning
yes.
recording.
Yes, and I am very happy, very thankful to God, to Residente, you know,
Well-
my friend who, you know, introduced me to him.
Well, it was meant
Daniel,
for you. It was
yes.
meant for you. It was meant for you. So, congratulations.
Thank you
on
so
that.
much. Thank you.
Congratulations. And then you also mentioned that you're also performing in Europe, and you continue to perform in Europe,
Yes.
right? So I know you're going to perform for us here on
Yes.
set, and we're looking forward to that. But before we do that, let's just share with everyone a little bit about the tour that you have in store, because you're already scheduled from 2025 to 2026.
Yes, so another amazing thing that happened to me this year, it's to release my own jazz album with my music, Ashes and Diamonds.
Ashes
I have
and
it.
Diamonds?
I have it here.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Oh, you made it a CD.
Yes, it's a CD.
I love that. I love that your people are making CDs now.
Yes, I still made a CD because I have a lot of concerts in Polish communities, and most people want to just buy a CD, and they always ask me after the show, like, could we buy like a physical record? So I decided to sell it. Also, when I go for tour, people like to buy a physical
CD,
record.
yes.
It's like with books. I think people just want to touch
Yes,
it and
yes,
have it.
yes,
Even
yes.
if they have no boombox, or they don't make cars anymore with CD players, but people, I think, just want to have it like in
And
the...
I see you have 9 tunes on here.
Yes,
Yes, and you're going to be giving us a taste here on set
yes,
of one of
yes.
the songs from this CD.
Of course,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
Like, of course, no, we're honored. We're honored, and then before we go, I want to let everybody know that you're going to be touring in Europe, right? I saw
Yes.
something. You're going to be in Italy.
I will be touring in Italy and Poland. I have a show in Rome on July 23rd. Then I'm going to Poland, and I will have a show on July 27 in Poznań. And then I'm coming back to Rome to have a show with my friend Stefano Battaglia at Gregory's Jazz Club on August 8th.
And so when do the people in New York have the privilege of listening to you in person?
I will be having a show at El Barrio Art Space, the building, maybe somewhere like in middle of July. And also when I come back, I don't have exact date, but at the Williamsburg Music Center at the end of August.
Nice.
Yes,
Very
I
nice.
just performed at the Greenpoint Jazz Festival last Saturday,
Nice.
June 21st. And I also wanted to mention I'm very happy because True Revolution record label was interested in releasing my album, so they released my album. And it's also a Grammy-winning record label because its owner, Zakai Cartes, just also won a Grammy for the best jazz Latin album. And he's the owner of the company, so
Of the company that just released your
yes.
CD.
So I am on the
You're on the path to your own Grammy.
I am on the Grammy record label, so it's
Look
all
at you.
Grammys this year.
Okay, and so
Yes.
well, that's left is for Margo S to win her Grammy.
Yes, yes, yes.
For
That's
your-
my dream. Yes.
That's, well, no,
yes.
we're putting it out there
yes,
for Ashes
please.
and Diamonds.
Yes,
Beautiful.
that's my next plan.
right. Well,
yes,
no,
my
that's
next
what we're putting
dream.
out there.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, you already won
yes,
a Grammy for your vocals.
Yes.
You're with a Grammy-winning label.
yes,
All that's left is Ashes and Diamonds to win
Yes.
its Grammy,
yes.
and we're putting it out there.
And I have amazing musicians on it. One of the best in New York, David Kikowski, Stacy Dillard, Spike Wilner, Ricky Rodriguez, Leandro Pellegrino, David Hoskins.
Yeah.
One of the best musicians of this generation right now.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned their names, right? Because
Yes.
the industry, you all recognize each other, and
Yes,
you're
yes.
shining light on them. Although, we're not going to have the whole band with her today.
Yes.
She's being accompanied by a guitarist today.
Yes, by David Sandman,
Right.
a great guitar player.
Beautiful. And so basically that's my cue to let you guys know not to go anywhere, because when we return, Margo is going to perform for us after the break, and you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Here now to perform Don't Explain. Let's give it up for Margo S.
Hush now, don't explain. Just say you remain. Skip that lipstick. Don't explain. Quiet, don't explain. What is that to gain? Skip that lipstick, don't explain. I know that you love me, and what love endures. All my faults are of you, thou I'm still completely yours. Cry to him for Jada, and I know you cheat. Right or wrong, don't matter. If you leave me sweet, hush now, don't explain. You are my joy and pain, my Sandman on the guitar. Thank you so much.
Yay, Margo! Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
What a beautiful, soothing sound to conclude today's episode. Everyone, mi gente, thank you once again, Margo S. And for more on Margo and her music, it's available on all streaming platforms. And of course, she has, again, a CD, and you can visit her website at margosmusic.net and follow her on Instagram at margo.jazz.vocals for everything related to her tour. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out this episode throughout the weekend and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Let's be love, mi gente. Let's just love. Mwah. Yay! You want to play? Yeah. You can just play. We're going to conclude. Yay!